Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's the season of the witch. Hello Velociraptors, and welcome back to Wednesday on Femme Ferocity. I am back here in the dreary land of Melbourne, but you know, I'm kind of glad for it, because as much as I do love the sunshine and everything up in Sydney, I really adore the cold, and I'm not going to get too much of it, I think, down here in Australia, in the coming months, because we're heading into summer, so I may as well soak up the cold while I can, right? Anyway, so last week's topic, wow, that was certainly a heavy one, but definitely a necessary one, so I thank you, Tramp, for bringing that up, because I think religion is something that everyone does think about, and something that we should all not be afraid to discuss, no matter how taboo or how controversial our views may be. Anyway, so this week we are officially in Halloween month, and I am so pumped because I absolutely adore this holiday so much. I'm about to tell you why. But before I do, let's bring up this week's topic, which was one of the user-suggested topics, because this is a user-suggested week. This week's topic was, what does Halloween mean to you? And this was suggested by Anon, and I believe it was because, I think they sent it in via our Tumblr, which is femferocity.tumblr.com. So I absolutely adore this this holiday. It's my absolute favourite holiday of the entire year, more than Christmas. Christmas used to be a really big thing when I was little, but as I've grown up and seen all the pressures that people go through, and you know, the stress, and people trying to find car parks in supermarkets, and people being grumpy and yelling at each other, and I mean, suicide is at an all-time high around Christmas. You know, it's a horrible holiday when you think about it like that. Halloween, not so heavily celebrated here in Australia, so there's not so much pressure like that at all. It's just fun, and I would just want to soak up the fun and everything else. So, but I wanted to go into a little bit more depth as to why Halloween was such a big deal for me, and I've classified it in three particular categories. So, the three categories are Halloween from a Satanist perspective, because as you would know from my video last week, I do incorporate LaVeyan Satanism in with my belief system. Halloween from a paranormal perspective, and Halloween from a spooky/scary perspective. So let's go straight into number one, shall we? So in LaVeyan Satanism, Halloween is one of the big ones on the calendar. The reason for this being any sort of worship of the devil or any, you know, aligned symbols of that character represent to Satanists this wonderful celebration of what Satan symbolises to them, which often is the ultimate symbol of self-worship and individualism. You can see my blog, which I've popped up on my Tumblr, which I think I posted a link to last week as well, which is called Satanism. What is it? And that goes into a little bit more depth as to what I believe and why Halloween is linked with Satanism, and for me, and blah blah blah. So yeah, but look, I'm a big fan of LaVeyan Satanism. I wouldn't say I'm a full-blown Satanist, obviously. I'm just taking elements and borrowing elements from it. But, you know, it's definitely a mix of that and atheism. So, my second point, Halloween from a paranormal perspective. Now, while I do consider myself pretty logical, for me, these concepts of, you know, ghosts and things like that, Bigfoot, ghosts, life after death, aliens and their existence in the universe as opposed to their presence on Earth, blah 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 blah, there's so many, and my views are varied on each topic. I think, in my mind, obviously, I lean towards the concept of them not existing, but as much as people, in the same way as people search for God and search and wish for God to exist, I kind of do like the idea of thinking that there's something after death, you know. I mean, as much as my logical brain kicks in and says no, you know, there probably isn't, the odds are, you know, that there probably isn't something after death and things like that, that doesn't stop me searching, you know, in the same way as people search for God, I guess. But for me, God, it just does not gel with me, the whole concept. There is absolutely no evidence for God, which there is basically no evidence for ghosts and things like that, but that doesn't stop me searching. You know, and it just intrigues me. It just intrigues me. All these concepts, all these ideas of Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and you know, other dimensions and time travel, and you know, like all these pseudoscience sort of concepts and theories, and you know, all that stuff really, really intrigues me. So around Halloween, a lot of these things are highlighted, a lot of these things are brought up in publications, in documentaries, in films, and that just piques my interest so much. So that's another reason why I love Halloween, because yeah, we have so much more access to those kind of topics around this time of year, because everyone's sort of talking about them. Now, finally, Halloween from a spooky/scary perspective. Now, beyond the other two reasons that I've already mentioned, Halloween it generates a mood, you know? It generates this spooky atmosphere that I just absolutely adore. You know, Halloween is like Christmas, except without the pressure of Christmas. Halloween is based on the Celtic festival, which is Samhain, which is the harvest festival, and the pagan festival of the dead. You know, these things come from in Europe, and I do find a lot of time this time of year, people in Australia say, "Oh no, Halloween is not a, you know, it's not an Australian, it's an American holiday. It's an American holiday." It's not an American holiday. It's no more an American holiday than it is an Australian holiday, because really, our ancestors from both countries do come from Europe, and they brought this holiday with them. It's just that America celebrates Halloween in such a such a massive way in comparison to us. Anyway guys, that's the end of this Wednesday and why I like Halloween. If you'd like to know a little bit more, I'll review, you know, some of the points I've brought up. There is a Tumblr post and a blog that I've based this video on, which I will put down in the description, which is basically what Halloween means to me. So you can go back and have a bit of a look at that, and if you want to look at any of my other blogs or anything like that, please go to davidkdavey.tumblr.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on Femme Ferocity, and like our Facebook page, like my Facebook page if you like, and cool. That's all the plugging I've got to do for this week. So I guess until the second week of Halloween, I will talk to you all very, very soon. Mwah! Farewell!